If you're new, my name is Corey Thorne. I am a spiritual teacher, and I'm just stopping in to give a quick message of. I think I'm just stopping in. I think I'm just doing a check in, a stop in, just for a few moments. Just bringing up on my phone and making sure I'm on YouTube. There I go. Okay. So I should be on YouTube and Facebook together right now. So if you're watching on either or, oh, there we go. Okay. Hi, Wendy. Hi, Tracy. Hi, Tanisha. Hi. So, hello. So we're just letting a few people join in before I speak tonight. This is this is a bit of a short message. So, um, good evening. Hi, Destiny and Verna and Edie and Lana. Hi, and Shaiva. Hi. Hello, everybody. So I just want to come in and give a little quick message for the energy, for where we are right now, for what we have happening around us in the energy, and just stop in and talk a little bit about that. Hello, Michelle. And Brenda, hi. I don't see anyone from YouTube yet. It says I'm on YouTube, so I should be on both. But I wanted to stop in, and I'm doing just the collective energy and where we are in the collective energy for today. I wasn't sure if I was coming in tonight. I've been taking some time to breathe and to process and to step back and just let my heart feel what it needs to feel this week, or over the last few days of where we've been. Hello, Pat and Diane and Rose. Hi. So I don't know if anyone has seen my. Hello, Linda. So early this morning, if you're on my Facebook page, hey, Chantel, nice to see you. I love your home. Oh my God. I can't stop talking about your house, Chantel. I want to come live down next to you now in Newfoundland. I want to come home now. Ah, and Christine and Missy and Kevin, hello. So if you see my card I posted earlier today, it is one of my cards from my deck, right? Yeah, I figured it's amazing, Chantel. It's so incredible. I'm like, wow. Yeah. I said to Corey, I'm like, maybe we should go to Newfoundland and open up a bed and breakfast or something. Like, he's all on board. It's me not wanting to leave my grandchildren. he'd go he'd go to Newfoundland tomorrow. Or my grandchild with the second grandchild on the way. So okay. So if you see, good evening, Stacy, and and Lisa Star Francis. Yes, go. I know, Lisa, that's what you tell me. So this morning, my card that I had posted, I'm just bringing it up on screen here. So this morning, my card was Purity Rebirth. It's hard to see the bottom with the scrolling little thing here. I don't usually have it on when I'm sharing my cards. And I don't know how to take it off right in this moment. So this morning I shared this card, and it was a card that I intentionally picked. I didn't shuffle and choose this morning. I can't say I did that. I can honestly say I chose the first card of my deck, and this is from my deck of Oracle cards, which is in the process still of creation. There is changes being made to these, but the message really truly was for purity rebirth, was that sense of, being in that we can be in, we can be in, three different stages all at once. And, when we're in that stage of that rebirth, or in the stage of, any sort of transition and changes that are happening within our lives, is that there's often three stages that are happening at once, and we don't honor those. Like, for example, I'll use the new mother, for example, because that's the one I use with the cards. Oh, were you thinking about me a lot? It's been a it's been a tough few days, few weeks. It's been a little bit tough. Yeah, lost somebody, lost one of our dear soul sisters and friends, and it's been definitely a challenge and a grieving process, and um, so sitting with that energy, but I know where she wants us all to be. So I'm showing up, I'm doing what she would want, and that's to be right here, right here. Um, and so there's three different stages that's happening at once. Um, thank you. And those three stages, like for example, when a and I'm just using this one for example. So when a new mother has a child, and then after, it's like we kind of often, or we used to more than ever, discount the fact that when she would have a little bit of sadness or melancholy in her life, or just feel like a little bit of lost and not knowing who she was in the new experience, and everyone's like, you should be happy. You know how we tell people you should be this, you should be moved on, you should be happy, you should be doing this, you should be doing that. Well, it's not that they're not experiencing, moments of the joy and the happiness, but there is something that we leave behind when we walk into a new experience. When we transform, when we ascend, when we grow, when we evolve, when we go through change, when we go through loss, when we go through anything, that we experience this, and that's my dog snoring, by the way, that we experience, these changes, is not that we're not happy for that experience or that moment, or we're not experiencing some sort of like joys and happiness or increments, right? Everything is in that wave, in that moment. But there's also that, and we discount this way too often in our own journey. There is that previous experience, that previous life, that sometimes we mourn, we grieve for, we forget to grieve for. We don't know what's really wrong with us. And so what we're being told with the purity card is to come in, when we come into that sense of wholeness, is that we have allowed ourselves to experience all sides, all spectrums, all views, to allow ourselves, we've sat with compassion and kindness for where we have been, and we have honored the journey of where we have been, and also sat in the moment that we're in and acknowledge that moment, plus being able to start creating or imagining a world that is beyond that time, or creating that life beyond, the next stage, the next journey, that we can have hope, we can have faith, we can have that energy towards what is, what can be on the other side, and still be in this experience. And when we feel guilty, or we neglect, or we reject, or we shame, we get shamed into, oh, you shouldn't feel that way, or oh, you should be over that, or you should be moved on from that, then that is really discounting and doing dishonoring our true selves. We're dishing ourselves. We're not allowing ourselves to be in that full experience, to embrace that full experience, to be in that experience. And that's the one of the biggest things that through this journey, through the creation of these cards, was that really came up for me. And she is actually, this card actually represents the maiden, mother, and crone. She's all experiences all in one. And so she can also be that spirit of, that spirit of the essence of the ancestors as well. So honoring the ancestors, honoring the experience, but it's all about really stepping into honor that experience, to be present in that experience, and allow yourself to experience whatever you need to experience in that moment, and in that, in your time. And when you do, there's that shift. So zero actually comes, I always say, it's that power of all things encompassed. When you come 360, and that last little bit of that journey is sometimes the hardest. So you can be really holding on to, you can be really truly holding on to what you have just kind of walked into, what you've just been there. But if the past has not gotten what it needs to honor that experience, or you haven't moved beyond that shadow self, then it's always going to be creeping in to your nows and affecting those nows that you exist within. I've never noticed the spirit behind hugging them both, right? And so that card actually represents all that. That's the Trinity. This card represents the Trinity. The hearts represents that fourth, that beyond us, that beyond self. And so the card has so much more meaning and goes a lot deeper. And even as the card was unfolding for me, I was connecting it to, oh, that beautiful mom holding the baby. I compared it to, my daughter holding her child in that experience. And then I thought back to me. And every one of these cards that's part of this journey, and I'm sharing this with you because you may experience this yourself. As I shared every one of these cards when I was doing all of the cards in the class, like in the live videos, and I went through every one side by side with me, right by me, was that I was going through such a transformational journey. I felt vulnerable, exposed, because every one of these cards somewhat is part of my experience. And so being that young single mom and not having everything that I need for support in that moment, I had people to be there, but the emotional, the spiritual support that was needed, that I needed to be able to acknowledge. And no one ever mentioned, maybe you got a little bit of postpartum, but what the hell was postpartum and what did it really mean? And so that journey was that, I was still longing for my old life, but also loving this life. So I was doing things that were not of service to me while I was trying to honor and hold on to being that mom to that child. And so that those experiences were all happening in every single moment of my day. And so it's all one, it's your life, it's your experiences, and it all comes to, so when you learn the power of having compassion and kindness and really truly stopping to acknowledge your journey, and to not to be just looking out doing, complaining and those type of things, and or trying to perfect things, not putting the mask on. It's about the acknowledgement that we do to allow ourselves. That's what taking ownership and responsibility is so that we can honor those experiences and step into whatever experience, and we can be here, we can acknowledge this, and we can look forward to this, or know that there's still this. We can hold on to hope and also do the healing that needs to be done over here, so that in every experience, when something new is, that when we feel that moment, that anxiety, that, or not anxiety, but that anxious feeling, that stressy little feeling that we get, that we can just acknowledge it for what it is. Say, it's okay. It's okay that I still long for something of my past. It's okay that that memory comes back in. But when you heal, the emotional connection, the emotional charge that keeps triggering you is what leaves. So I hope that card makes a lot of sense for anybody who's seen that card on my page today. And it came up and I shared it. And it wasn't that it came with the energy forecast, but it kind of did as I started to go through some of my energy forecasts. So um, that makes sense to you, Missy? Yeah. And I hope it makes sense to a lot of people. And you don't see me in here doing a lot of the same work that I used to do, when I started 3, 4 years ago, because I've also evolved. I've also grown. And there's times I long for some of that and I think, oh, I should go back to that. And every time I do, I just feel like I'm not honoring me. So as I'm moving forward and as I'm evolving and growing, this card meant more and more to me. I mean, my work is that baby that I hold on to, and honoring that, to be there, to be present, means that some of the other work that I love so much is not such a priority the same way it was before, because to just be Corey is so much more important than having to create a title, because in the previous experience I thought there was something I needed to prove, or something I needed to do, or I needed that to validate who I was. And that's, you may experience that in your life, and to just know that that you that as you let yourself be in all these experiences, so many things change for us. I'm sorry, guys, my dog is really snoring. You probably hear that big snore. That's my dog. Hello, hello, hello. Uh, Destiny, I can't wait until that happens for me, Stacy. Trying every day to honor my boy as well and helping those who are hurting too. Yes, exactly, right? And yeah, and Stacy, it's like that's such a truth, right? Recognizing where you have been through the experience of Sweet Reed, and where you are now, and moving, and where you are now, but knowing that that didn't leave you, but who we are on the other side. And so that's where the hearts come in. And so the hearts are that unconditional love, that innate of us, that connection to us, that really truly is that light that's beyond. What gives us that push? What gives us that strength to do the things we don't know we even have to do? Yeah, that's the dog snore, right? To know that we can do these. Where did that come from, and where did I get the strength? Where does it come from? But it's something that when we let go and we honor our human experiences, as well as just trusting, there's so many things that transpires for us. So, Lana, man, I needed to hear this. I always hate hearing get over it, move on, but nobody really ever will know what a person is going through. I'm still going through hard times with my younger son, and he is older. Now all I want is to move forward. It's been 3 years since my separation. Now I'm healing. What, nothing good for kids? Yes, right. I want to be happy. I deserve it. So yes, and so in this experience of you stepping into that acknowledgement and acknowledging what it is. What do you really need? What do I need? And then what do I need to if I'm continually longing for this of what it, of the days gone by, what is it that I'm really truly needing right now? And then being able to see the forward, right? Like being able to, okay, so if it's happiness, and that's where my book comes in, that more than existing. I'm like, I was finding joy and happiness no matter the cost. And it was, and that meant to me, not to anyone else, but to me. And it meant that I was going to have to face a lot of my truth, including the relationships and all of those things that were in my life, and look at them differently. And through the eyes of everyone that was in my life, I had to think of, if I want happiness and joy, I'm going to send what, if I haven't experienced it yet, or if it's something that I experienced in my past, what was the feeling? Not what was the memory so much, but what was the feeling, what it felt like to feel that. And then to grab onto that and send it forward, because it's not going to look like it was previously, ever. Hello, Kelly. And Gail, hello. Marina, it's been a while since I tuned in. So glad I did tonight. This is something my heart needed to hear. Oh, I'm so glad this helped you tonight. He's been coming a lot in my dreams. It's awesome. See, he knows how much you need him. Hey, Stacy, he's right there, right there. Okay, so I'm going to pull I'm going to pull a card that's going to go with this card to add into the energy of what purity and rebirth. And we are coming through many shifts and many changes right now. We really are. And so the card that goes with this is benevolence, and it's Perphone. And she's also one of the most beautiful cards in the deck, and she's 33. And as I talked about, this card, Rebirth, really truly also represents that Trinity. It is that come together, or if, so in other words, AKA Trinity, mind, body, soul connection. When we come in full alignment to self, and we stop questioning the material world, and we start questioning inward. We start questioning in here and not out there. And so Let me bring up this card for you. Oh, that's not what I wanted. Hold on. Let me find card number 33. And like I said, these cards will not look exactly like this. But when I do this, when we have the summit coming up in January, it's a full weekend event. There's so many speakers. There's amazing, amazing, amazing speakers. Some of the speakers this year are, friends that I've known for years. Some have released their books as well, or their cards. There is, it's incredible. But the list of names and stuff are all coming out. They're all unfolding. You're seeing it. And you can get into that event. But I'm going to be talking in my first talk that I'm doing on that weekend in January. I will be going through some of the process of this and talking some more about it. So here's our card, and it's benevolence, and it's Persephone. And so she's really rebirth. We put rebirth in the maiden cards, but she's being changed to all three. She's going to encompass all three of that energy. And then benevolence is, she's truly stepping into that crone energy. She knows exactly who she is. And she's not the woman who is behind here. She's the woman that's in front. This woman is not the card of, this card is not the card of a jealousy or anything like that. She is just somebody she's the person who is breaking out. She's coming through that awakening. She is vulnerable. She's raw. She's exposed. She's feeling the symptoms of her awakening, which is what my course is about that starts tomorrow night, which is that spiritual depression. It is the sense that we just sometimes are not even sure what's going on with us. And so she's that card that really truly is in the phases of her transformation. She is inspired. And that's where we look at each other, all humans, and we say, if we could just be an inspiration to each other, we could just be that support to each other. But what we don't really, give that sense of awareness to is that for the most part, the majority of the world has been, either program conditioned. We've been through previous experience with hurt people, and hurt people are hurt people. And that includes our own selves hurting ourselves. And it includes the people that are in our lives that unintentionally trying to get us sometimes to do the best thing that they think is the best thing, which may not be the best thing for us, but they're just trying to help, leads us into kind of losing ourselves or feeling like we can never do enough, and that then becomes more hurt. Benevolence really became, and this is a chapter written in one of my new books, and I said it was a word I had to go look up. And I had to study it, because that deep-seated kindness, that sense of being a benevolent being, means being the best human being that you could be. And that's been my mission, to acknowledge not what everyone else is doing wrong, not what anyone else has done wrong to me, not any other wrongdoing, what I am doing that is not in alignment to my truest self, means what am I contributing to some of the, probably negativity that people may feel when they're around me, or what am I doing that's not in alignment to myself? And so this card really truly comes in where she's admiring and looking in at people. And I always say, choose people who inspire you to be the best that you can be. Choose to be around, people who are actively making choices and decisions to rise. And as you rise, people are going to fall away. And that's okay. We're all going through transitions and shifts. And it doesn't mean that you have to take it personally, or that you got to, be angry at someone else that you're not in alignment anymore. It just happens. So looking at her and seeing that she's wearing that multicolored dress, and it's like, and so when you hear me speak of blended and diversity in love, was that falling back in through being inspired by other women, by women who inspired me, was that I had to really look at myself and say, how much of this anger or hurt or things that I carry, how much of this is from previous experience of even just hearing people talk and getting involved or just carrying the load, including generations, right? Generational healing is so important. And I am blended in diversity and love. And when you look at it and you look at life in a different way, was one of my biggest things that for me was what I came to recognize in myself, because it's not about this is what everybody's doing to me and everybody's doing this to me. It's not, it's not everybody's fault in the world of where we are when we are choosing to make a choice to try to heal our world. It's not about oh, I got to cut the cords to everybody, I need boundaries everywhere. This book was created about coming back to the people that I love. It was about letting go of the stories of the past, because half the stories that I had were through the eyes and the ears of a child who would hear these stories on repeat, and then they would repeat, well, it was never the same as it was years ago, right? And so having to really look in at things with some fresh eyes. So the kindest thing that I could do for me was to free myself of being held hostage and a prisoner to those stories. And one of the things that I found when I was doing this, and I can honestly say this because I write about this, is I was complaining. And when I was complaining, when I would complain was when I felt abandoned, or when I felt I was being neglected, or when I felt I wasn't being when I felt I was being left out, or those type of things that would come up. And then I would get that bitchy complaining, and I'd be like, this da 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 da, but it wasn't even conscious. And that's what you have to realize, is that some of the things that we do unconscious, like not aware of it, because it's so habitual, it becomes such a habit that we think we normalize those unhealthy behaviors because we just hear it. And so when you're complaining like that and you don't even know you're even complaining, you don't realize you're complaining. Well, that energy affects you, it affects the people around you. And then sometimes the words that you don't even mean then end up getting misconstrued it and turned around, because not everybody is understanding that that's your trauma response. And when I could recognize it, I'm like, no, okay, wait. And so what I would do would I could be mid sentence, and this could be the kindest thing that you may do for you. I would stop, and I didn't care how many people were around, and I still do it. I still, you still have moments. You're human. Everybody's freaking human. And I stop and I'm like, whoa, wait. I can hear myself. I can hear that complaining. I can hear that whining. What am I really afraid of right now? Or what is really triggering me? What is really bothering me right now? And I don't speak to the material world. I speak to myself. Speak to that soul essence. What is my heart really feeling? Because this is the way that I can drive people away. This is how I can put my dander up. This is how I get my little porcupine quills out, right? That's how I can, shut down. That's how I can get in my cocoon and get into that little world and make it. I don't have, I don't have to be that. And then you can make every excuse in the world about how, you're too kind to people or you're too good to people. And so that then you start to realize that we tell ourselves a lot of little white lies, and recognizing that as a trauma response. Complaining is that impulsive or compulsive, complaining is actually a trauma response. It is something much more, and that is the shadow. That's what's overshadowing our light. You're trying to protect something, and instead of saying, you know what, I just felt hurt by that experience, and instead of reaching out at your whole scenarios, you may start to see things a lot differently when you can look at life from those views. And so benevolence truly is through listening to inspiring people in my life who have come beyond, who has traveled beyond their diversities, beyond their problems, their troubles, whatever has been happening in their world. And just knowing that on the other side of it, It's not saying that, there's going to be some people who are never going to forget the previous versions of you. For, and that's just it, but they don't know, they didn't walk in your shoes. They don't know where you have been, and they don't know your experiences. And if they truly wanted to know, they would come sit with the person that you are today. Right? And if not, then that's okay. But you have to be okay. So looking into that and rising with that and letting yourself be that is such an important part of our journey, to be able to acknowledge that. And so knowing that the same thing, this little heart represents the same heart that you're seeing in zero, that's always back to God. That's always back to God, the angels, whatever God means for you. I don't care what God means to you. That's your business. Source, creator, whatever it is, that's your relationship. So when you come into relationship with you, when you can see that love and light within, when you can start that journey, something starts to change for us. And that really truly begins a new journey. You stop looking into the material world. You stop being so invested into what is happening in the material world, or how that material world's going to provide for us. And sadly, there's so many people that just keep chasing and chasing and chasing, following everybody all night long or all day long, like just hoping for that one right answer. That one, and I say, it's you have a free will, and you have to trust that free will. You have to know that if you're going to really learn to trust anybody, you got to learn to trust you, but you got to become that best friend. So when she starts to step forward, she can be that for herself. She can be that truth. She can be that strength. She can be that love. And she can then that love flows through. And when we start to let our love and our light shine through, we start to be that change. And so I often do take breaks and step back and step away. I recognize times in myself and I'm like, it's time to step back. It's time to step away for a bit and just trust that, it's okay to let yourself be in your experiences, acknowledge where you've been, wonder, why is that complaining coming up for me again? What old memory is coming forward that still has an emotional charge? And there was a sense of needing to belong for a long time, and I don't think I have that the same. I'm just trying to see. There was a message here that I wanted to see, but I don't know where it went. It was Rose, and I just don't know where your message went, Rose. I don't see it. You feel like this message is for you tonight, Jennifer? Good. I just said that to Tracy. Yes, right. It's what's in the energy that we have right now. Um, I could have sure thought I just seen a message from Rose. Oh, maybe not. Okay. And so we have that, that's the wisdom. That comes with, you can have, so you can have human knowledge, and human knowledge is often somebody's opinion or thought or view, right? Or somebody else's story. So a lot of what you're getting, or a lot of what you have based on your knowledge, is like, well, I know this is what these people are. I know what this person is. I know what. Oh, okay. Thank you, Rose. I'll check it after. And so I know what this is. I know where, I know this and I know that. But do you really know? Right? What do we really, really know to be true? And so wisdom and knowledge are very different. That all knowledge comes from a human's perspective, a human's opinion, a human's, even scientific, like science changes all the time, and it's true till every story, your stories are true until you find it out to not to be true, right? Until something changes the story. And that is a very, that's such a true thing. Wisdom is just a sense of knowing. Wisdom is pure. So wisdom is that purity. And wisdom comes with that just trusting and just knowing. And it comes from the source. It comes from the divine energy. It comes from that place of being untainted. So when you can start to step into that untainted energy, when you start to step into that sense of, okay, I can just, be myself and be okay with that, but also acknowledge when my human is stepping into a place that it really doesn't want to go again. It's been there once. I don't need to do it again. And our biggest problem is our fear of evolving and growing. So we hold on to a lot of the stories, or if our story can't stay alive with specific people in our lives, then and we're not willing to let it go because it's serving a need, either to keep us in our story or to keep us playing a role or to keep us doing something. Then we keep finding people who will play into that story, instead of saying, I gotta keep pushing myself to evolve and grow into to that place of the ones that are inspiring me to be the best that I can be. And I'm just going to validate this quickly for you. Oh my God. Okay, so I just shuffled it up and I'm like, let's validate this card. And we get the exact same card again. So back to purity. I don't have to change the card. So see, you just can't make this up. So she's the card she is the beginning card. So she's the, where we have been, where do we want to go? That kindness and compassion is where we need to be. It is an absolute must to step into the energy of, kindness, compassion. That includes how we treat ourselves. It's like I'm horrible to myself sometimes. I take like I take everything, and I just like take everything on as a personal, like, I punish myself more than anyone, and like it's just like, oh, that is somebody snoring, Lindsay. Let me see if I can turn the camera. Maybe you can see her. That's that one right there. That little tiny Yorkie. That's who that is. That's who is snoring. And so then we move into that future card. And so, this is beyond. So that whole wholeness is, who are we beyond? And when we walk through the light, when we walk through the love, when we allow the love and light to flow through us, when we allow ourselves, and sometimes that love and light may mean we may have to take a stand. And taking a stand doesn't mean that we have to then pull out all the previous versions of ourselves that didn't work before, that left us punishing and hurting ourselves more. It means, who do I need to be today to be the best of me, to make sure that I am heard, or that it does matter, or that my voice, that my message, my truth, whatever it is for you, that truly needs to come forth. Who do I need to be for her? And so that means that then you can honor that experience by truly becoming that inspiration to yourself. There, and I will say this 1,000 times: I'm not someone's guru. I'm not. I'm not somebody's healer. I'm not any of that. You're all of that. I can give tools. I can give my journey. I can tell my story. But ultimately, it's always up to us. And so what we choose and how we choose to look into this is, from that place of being vulnerable and real and honest and authentic, is that we can acknowledge that we can be in these experiences, and still, we can be here and doing well and growing and evolving in this rebirth energy, in this time, still going through transformations, but still also knowing that we can still be in a grief process, or we can be in something else that's happening, but also still have a sense of hope and faith. And we can hold that until everything just kind of starts to come together. And then we start to look from a place beyond. We rise above. And when we rise above, we don't stay in problems. We don't seek solutions in problems, We rise up above the problems to find solutions. And that is the biggest game changer that you can ever do. As long as you stay in that energy, as long as you stay, swimming around in the muck, and you keep going to that same kind of people, that same kind of energy, that same kind of, as long as you're there and you just keep complaining and complaining and complaining and being angry and being that frustrated and that old energy, you're never going to be able to come to that place of a solution. So rising above, getting moving and shifting the energy to get to that place of what do I need to do? And that's when, that inward journey begins when we start acknowledging that we have to seek and search the answers within us, because it's all within us. When you stop the relying upon that world that exists outside us, including the blame game, instead of laying blame, wanting somebody else to be responsible, wanting someone else to hold, to be accountable for everything else that has gone wrong for you, whatever it may be. It's our journey, right? And we have to take it and we have to walk it. And when you start to walk that journey, you walk your truth, it's amazing the changes that transpires. But that's our message. And so as we're moving forward, it is kindness and compassion and, be someone's inspiration today. If we can be somebody's inspiration, and I know that's what my friend would want. If we can be somebody's inspiration, we can inspire somebody, if we can be that for somebody else today. Um, it's amazing. And then if, to know that I always say that children are always watching. Remember the children are watching. And so be the inspiration for the next generations. Be that for them. But then also look to those who you see that are rising. But don't make up a story. And I always tell people, don't make up a story of the life you think people are living. Because then you're going to be complaining about this life that you think that you're waiting for or that you want. You're like, oh, I want to be this, I want to be that, because they're doing this and they're doing that. That doesn't mean that's what's happening behind the scenes. And that's why I don't put on no false facade. It's like there's no magical, beautiful life that is happening beyond. It's as real as all the rest of you. Right. And so just knowing that, anyone creating that image of who and what you think people are, a celebrity, an influencer, a social media person, whatever it is that that's not, that's the role they're playing. That's what you're seeing. And the only person creating the story of the person that you think they are behind that is going to be you. So what kind of story are you telling yourself? And then what kind of image are you trying to create that you're trying to sell, but not do the work that needs to be done? We've got to do the work. We've got to put it into us. And so I hope this somehow helps you tonight. I hope this resonates with you. And I'm going to go finish writing up my class. So there is still room to get in. I have the spiritual depression, which is like the symptoms and the signs of going through of not knowing what's happening to you, but you're transforming. And people forget that just because we turn adults, it doesn't mean we don't keep growing and evolving. So it's like you're trying to fit into a skin that no longer belongs to you, and you keep doing the same habits, the same repeat, the same things over and over, but wanting a different outcome. And then you're wondering why you feel that, or you're tired, you're just like lost. You just keep saying, oh, I just don't know what I want. I don't know my purpose. Or, there's so many things that you don't realize that are, dropping your energy down, lowering your energy, and you just kind of feel lost. And so feeling depleted, tired, migraines, headaches, like those type of things, sometimes that overthinking. So we think our lives into creation, right? And so we create those stories about our lives that we tell ourselves. And this really truly is the journey through. And I'm very honest, I went through that spiritual depression, that not being, this is not clinical. I'm not your psychologist. I'm not your doctor. I say that thousands of times over. This is about us. It's about our personal journey connecting back to us. And so I start that 4-week coaching class tomorrow night. So there's still room to get into that if you are interested in that one. And then I have something else I'm teaching Thursday. Oh, the chakra healing. So I have a chakra healing class also starting. So if you're looking at and wanting to know more about the energy centers, the chakras, wanting to learn more about healing and those type of things, then I start that Thursday night as well. And then we also have the tickets on sale. The tickets are now on sale for the summit. This is the early bird price. They will be going up. I'm not sure exactly when they go up, but they will be going up. And so they're drastically a lot cheaper right now if you buy your tickets early for the summit. It is a full weekend event. It is Friday night, all day Saturday, and all day Sunday. It has so many presenters, so many courses, and it's crazy. So Michelle Gibson, who's in here tonight, she's in there. Lisa Starr Francis is in there. Of course, Lisa Richard is there with me. There's so many. Mama Guru is there. Laura Lee Scobie, Kate Gangas. Oh, there's so many women who are in this. Sherry Houle, and so the list just keeps going on. Tracy Leggett, but the list is big. There's a lot of presenters. There's a lot of people, and I think the tickets are like $49.95 or $49.99 right now. So if you want to join us for a full weekend of live interactive in January, get your tickets. You will not regret it. It's an amazing list. Yes, it is. And it's all on my page. It's all on my page or all on my website, CoreyThorne.com. And you can also purchase my book. All the links are there, Amazon.ca.com, Balboa Press, all those places. And it is more than existing. So thank you. Thank you for being with me. Go to my page, go to my website, go check out all the stuff that is happening. So many things coming up. So thank you so much for being here with me tonight. Thank you for holding the space for me tonight. Much, much love. Have a beautiful night, and I will see you soon. Bye-bye.